BMW was days away from disappearing. Not struggling, not rebranding, gone. Inside a quiet boardroom, executives were preparing to sign papers that would erase the company completely. No luxury sedans, no racing legacy, no ultimate driving machine. And the most surprising part? BMW didn't collapse because its cars were bad. It almost vanished because it refused to build cars for everyone. Instead, BMW gambled everything on one risky belief that driving should feel like something. That gamble nearly destroyed the company. But it also explains why BMW became one of the most polarizing, admired, and controversial car brands in the world. And to understand how BMW survived by betting on emotion over safety, we have to go back to a time when BMW didn't even make cars. Body Section 1, the company that wasn't supposed to last. BMW didn't start with luxury. It didn't start with speed. It started with airplane engines. Before BMW ever built a car, it was an engineering company obsessed with precision. And for a while, that obsession paid off. But after global conflict reshaped Europe, BMW was banned from making aircraft engines altogether. Suddenly, the company had no clear future. So BMW pivoted, first motorcycles, then small, awkward cars that barely sold. By the late 1950s, BMW was bleeding money so fast that bankruptcy felt inevitable. That's when the unthinkable happened. Mercedes-Benz stepped in with an offer. A takeover. For most companies, this would have been the end of the story. BMW would have become a footnote, a forgotten badge absorbed by a bigger brand. But a group of investors blocked the deal at the last second. BMW barely. And survival forced a decision that would define everything that followed. BMW didn't need saving anymore. It needed an identity. Body Section 2, the most dangerous decision BMW ever made. BMW could have played it safe. It could have copied what other manufacturers were doing. Soft suspensions, comfortable rides, quiet cabins, cars designed to offend no one. Instead, BMW went the opposite direction. They decided every car should feel balanced. Rear-wheel drive, near-perfect weight distribution. Steering that actually talked back. These weren't the easiest cars to sell. BMWs demanded attention, they rewarded skill, they punished laziness. And in a market full of smooth, forgiving sedans, BMW felt different. Sometimes uncomfortably different. Sales didn't explode overnight. In fact, the strategy scared a lot of buyers away. But the people who did buy BMWs felt something others didn't. Connection, confidence, and BMW leaned into that feeling hard. But there was still a problem. Great engineering means nothing if no one understands why it matters. Body Section 3, the ultimate driving machine. BMW didn't just need better cars. It needed better words. That's when the company introduced one of the most powerful slogans in automotive history: the ultimate driving machine. It wasn't about speed. It wasn't about luxury. It wasn't even about reliability. It was about you. The phrase didn't promise comfort, it promised identity. If you drove a BMW, you weren't just buying transportation. You were buying proof that you cared about how a car felt. The slogan changed everything. BMW ads stopped focusing on leather and wood trim. Instead, they showed empty roads, curves, steering wheels in motion. Driving became the product. And for the first time, people didn't just want BMWs. They believed in them. But belief alone wasn't enough. BMW still had to prove it at the limit. Body Section 4, racing as proof. BMW didn't enter motorsport to chase trophies. It entered to prove a point. On tracks across Europe, BMW pushed its cars harder than most brands were willing to. And when they won, it wasn't just a victory, it was validation. This is where the M division was born. M wasn't a trim level, it was a statement. These were road cars built with racing DNA still intact. Stiff suspensions, high-revving engines, minimal compromise. They weren't practical. They weren't subtle. And they weren't for everyone. But they didn't need to be. Because suddenly, BMW wasn't just saying it built driver-focused cars. It was showing it. And that success changed how the world saw the brand forever. But with popularity came a new problem. One BMW never expected to grow this big. Body Section 5: Success, Status, and a Target on BMW's back. When something becomes a symbol of success, it attracts attention. And not all of it is good. BMW became a status object, a reward, a badge that said you'd made it. But that image came with baggage. Arrogance, aggression, a reputation for drivers who thought rules didn't apply to them. And then there was something worse. Counterfeits. As BMW's designs became iconic, imitation followed. Fake parts flooded the market. Grills, wheels, badges, even entire cloned vehicles in some regions. Some were obvious, others weren't. This created a silent problem. Poor quality parts damaged BMWs while still wearing the badge. And when things went wrong, BMW's reputation took the hit. The brand fought back with authentication systems, tighter supply chains, and aggressive legal action. But the bigger threat wasn't fake parts. It was something much closer to home. Body Section 6: Design backlash and an identity crisis. BMW had built its legacy on feel. Now the world was shifting towards screens, software, and silence. Electric vehicles changed everything. Sound disappeared, feedback softened, driving became quieter and less emotional. At the same time, BMW's designs became louder. Massive grilles, polarizing shapes, cars designed to stand out instead of blend in. Some loved it, others hated it. Fans accused BMW of abandoning its roots. Critics said the brand was chasing attention instead of purity. But BMW wasn't panicking. It was adapting, because the hardest challenge BMW has ever faced isn't technology. It's this question: can a brand built on driving emotions survive in a world where driving matters less? Conclusion: BMW didn't become iconic by following trends. It survived by choosing a feeling and defending it when it would have been easier to quit. That belief saved the brand when it was nearly erased. It built loyalty strong enough to last generations. And it turned a struggling manufacturer into a global symbol. Now, as the road ahead changes again, BMW faces its biggest test yet. Not whether it can build great cars, but whether it can still make driving matter. Because that belief didn't just define BMW. It's the only reason the brand still exists.